Have you ever felt like the place you once called home doesn't feel like home anymore? When love leaves, even the walls seem to forget your name. But what if home was never a place, but something hidden inside your heart? A quiet apartment in Copenhagen. The morning light in Copenhagen is soft, almost too gentle to wake anyone up. But Anna is already awake. She lies in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the sound of the city outside her window, bicycles rolling, a dog barking, a bus sighing at the corner. Ordinary sounds of life. Yet inside her apartment, everything feels painfully still. It has been 3 weeks since he left. No arguments, no storm, no slamming doors. Just quietness, the kind that presses against your chest and makes even breathing feel heavy. The plants by the window lean toward the light, as if searching for a warmth that no longer exists here. You know that feeling, right? When a place that once felt full suddenly becomes too big. The silence grows louder. The walls echo back your own footsteps. You begin to talk to the kettle, to the mirror, to the cat that isn't even yours. It's not madness, it's memory trying to fill the void. Anna gets up slowly, dragging the blanket of sleep with her. Her slippers slide on the wooden floor, and the cold bites her toes. She opens the curtains, letting the pale northern sun pour in. Copenhagen is awake. But her heart is not. On the table, there are 2 coffee cups, one clean, one untouched since the morning he said goodbye. She can't throw it away yet. It feels like erasing proof that love once existed here. Sometimes, losing love isn't like tearing paper. It's more like fading in Denmark. People say, gem Havergertet home is where the heart is. But what happens when your heart no longer knows where to stay? That question hums quietly inside her, like the refrigerator in the corner. Constant, invisible, impossible to ignore. Anna walks to the window again and watches the street below. A child laughs. 2 people hold hands. Life, apparently, has not paused just because hers did. And that hurts in a strangely comforting way, proof that the world still spins, even when your world has stopped. She whispers to herself, almost like a promise, maybe today I'll try to feel alive again. The kettle begins to whistle, as if answering back. Coffee without company. The smell of coffee fills the kitchen, warm, familiar, almost like an old song that still knows all the words even when you don't want to listen. Anna stands by the counter, pouring the dark liquid into her favorite mug. It's the same cup she used every morning with him, the one with the tiny crack near the handle. He used to joke that it matched her, a little broken, but still beautiful. Now, the joke echoes in the empty air. The apartment doesn't laugh back. She takes a sip. It's bitter. Not because she forgot the sugar, but because loneliness changes the taste of everything. You can brew the same coffee, in the same kitchen, at the same hour, and yet, when love is gone, it all tastes like something else, like memory pretending to be comfort. Have you ever noticed how silence has its own temperature? Sometimes it's cold, sharp, like ice under your skin. Other times it's heavy, thick, like fog pressing on your lungs. Anna's silence is both. She stares at the steam rising from her cup and imagines it carrying away pieces of her heart, One sigh at a time. Outside, Copenhagen moves on. Cyclists rush past the window, wrapped in scarves. A woman pushes a stroller, humming softly. Somewhere, a church bell rings 10 times. The rhythm of life continues without hesitation. But inside, Anna is stuck between two breaths, one that belonged to us and one that must learn to belong to me. She opens her notebook. The first page still holds his handwriting, a list of groceries written months ago: milk, bread, coffee. She traces the word coffee with her fingertip, as if touching it could somehow summon the warmth of shared mornings. But it doesn't. Paper keeps ink, not people. Psychologists say our brains crave patterns, routines, familiar shapes, familiar voices. When those vanish, the mind panics, searching for something to anchor to. That's why she still makes 2 cups of coffee every morning. Her body hasn't caught up with her heart yet. She places the second cup, the one for him, beside her on the table. The steam slowly fades. She watches it until it disappears completely. Maybe healing begins exactly like that, not with sudden light, but with quiet acceptance that some warmth will never return, and yet, she smiles. Just a little. Because the coffee doesn't taste as bitter as yesterday. The streets still remember. When Anna finally steps outside, the wind greets her with the chill of early spring, crisp, honest, a little cruel. Copenhagen feels both familiar and foreign now, like a song she once loved but can no longer sing along to. The city hasn't changed, only the meaning behind its corners has. She walks down Brigade, the same street they used to wander on lazy Sundays. The bakery still smells of cinnamon and butter. The same baker waves good morning. The same cyclist rings his bell impatiently at tourists standing in the bike lane. Everything is the same, and yet, everything is different. Have you ever noticed that when someone leaves, the world doesn't erase them, it just hides them in ordinary things? A smell, a streetlight, a piece of music, they wait like silent traps. You turn a corner, and suddenly, you're back in a memory you didn't mean to revisit. Anna stops at the little park near the canal. There's the bench, their bench, where they once shared a hot dog and argued about which cloud looked more like a dragon. The wind brushes her hair across her face, almost like a playful reminder. She sits down, runs her fingers across the cold wood, and feels a strange comfort in the ache. Grief, psychologists say, is not linear. It loops. It surprises you in grocery stores and quiet streets. It hides inside smells, words, and songs. Anna learns this truth every day. She's not broken, she's just human. Her mind is trying to keep what her life has lost. She pulls her scarf tighter and starts walking again. The air smells faintly of roasted coffee and rain. In Denmark, they call this weather hygge gray, not gloomy, not bright, just soft enough to make you introspective. Maybe that's why the Danes light so many candles, to remind themselves that even small lights can make the dark feel like home. A group of teenagers laugh loudly as they pass her. One of them bumps into her shoulder and apologizes in Danish. Anna smiles back, realizing something. The city isn't haunted, she is. The streets don't remember him. She does. As she reaches the market square, a gust of wind carries the smell of tulips and fresh bread. For the first time in weeks, she inhales deeply and doesn't flinch. The world hasn't forgotten how to be beautiful. She just needed to look up again. Maybe healing isn't about forgetting the old streets. Maybe it's about learning to walk them differently. A stranger's smile. At the bus stop near the old bakery, Anna stands quietly, her gloved hands buried deep in her coat pockets. The wind has that unmistakable Copenhagen bite, a kind of chill that seeps through even the thickest wool. She's waiting for bus number 5C, heading nowhere in particular, just somewhere that isn't her apartment. The bus is late, as usual. She watches her breath turn into tiny clouds, disappearing before her eyes. Proof that she's still here, still breathing. Even if it doesn't always feel like living, then it happens. A man standing a few steps away looks up from his phone and smiles. Not a flirtatious smile. Not the kind that asks for anything. Just human. Simple. Kind. It catches her off guard. Like sunlight finding its way through a cloudy sky, she nods politely, unsure what to do with that sudden warmth. Her first instinct is to retreat, to protect the fragile quiet she's built around herself. But something in that smile lingers. It reminds her that connection doesn't always have to mean commitment. Sometimes it's just a moment shared between two lonely hearts standing in the cold. Have you ever noticed how strangers can feel safer than people you know? They carry no memories, no expectations. You can exist beside them without pretending. That's what makes these brief encounters almost sacred. They're free from the weight of your past. The man boards the bus first. She follows, choosing a seat a few rows behind him. As the bus moves, she watches the city through fogged windows, pastel-colored houses, the glimmer of bicycles, people wrapped in scarves like walking poems. The world feels softer today, as if the city itself is trying to whisper, "You're allowed to begin again." The man gets off 2 stops later. Before leaving, he glances back and smiles once more, just enough to make her chest tighten in that familiar, almost forgotten way. Hope, small and quiet, stretches its limbs inside her heart. Maybe healing begins not with grand gestures, but with moments like this, a stranger's smile that reminds you you're still visible, still human. Still capable of being seen. As the bus rolls forward, Anna looks out the window and whispers under her breath, half to herself, half to the city, maybe home isn't gone. Maybe it's just waiting for me to return to it. The weight of an empty room. When Anna returns home that afternoon, the apartment greets her with its usual silence, soft, almost polite, but heavy enough to bend her shoulders a little. The air feels still, like it's waiting for someone to say something. She closes the door, leans against it, and lets out a sigh that's been hiding in her lungs all day. There's something strange about empty rooms. They don't echo with sound, they echo with memory. The couch remembers laughter. The walls remember the rhythm of 2 toothbrushes in 1 cup. Even the floor remembers where their shadows used to overlap. You can't see it, but the silence knows. Anna stands in the middle of the living room, eyes scanning everything. The plants by the window, the books half-read, the photos turned face down. For weeks, she's avoided touching anything that might stir the ghosts of what used to be. But today feels different. Today, she's tired of avoiding. She picks up a framed photo from the shelf, the one of them biking along Nyhavn on a bright summer day. He's laughing, wind in his hair. She looks at it for a long time, then gently takes it out of the frame. The paper bends a little under her fingers. Then she places it in a drawer and closes it, softly. Not in anger, but in peace. Scientists say that physical space affects emotional space. Cleaning, rearranging, letting go, these actions tell the brain that change is happening, that you're no longer trapped in yesterday. Maybe that's why Anna suddenly feels the urge to move things around. She opens the windows wide. Cold Danish air rushes in, carrying the faint scent of rain and bakeries down the street. She laughs quietly at how fresh it feels, like the first real breath she's taken in weeks. Dust dances in the sunlight, tiny specks glowing and falling, like time made visible. She starts folding clothes, sorting books, stacking papers. Each motion feels both ordinary and sacred. The weight inside her chest doesn't disappear, but it shifts, from suffocating to bearable. Healing, it seems, is not about forgetting the empty space. It's about learning to live alongside it.by evening. The apartment looks a little different. Lighter. Freer. She lights a candle, sits down with a cup of tea, and watches the small flame flicker against the windowpane. Outside, the city glows, quiet, steady, alive. Maybe that's all she needs for now. A small light, a small step, and the courage to stay in the same room without running from it. She whispers, almost smiling, "This room isn't empty anymore. It's just beginning again." Letters never sent. The next morning, sunlight sneaks through the curtains, thin, golden lines crawling gently across the floor. Anna wakes up earlier than usual. There's no plan, no reason, just a quiet pull inside her chest, as if something is calling her from the corner of the apartment. She follows it leads her to the old wooden drawer near the bookshelf, the one she hasn't opened in months. Inside are loose papers, postcards, old notebooks, and the letters. Dozens of them, folded neatly, written in her handwriting. She picks one up. The paper smells faintly of ink and time. The first line makes her pause. "Dear you, I'm scared of the day you'll stop looking at me the way you do." Her own words hit her like a slow echo. She reads further, confessions written in the half-light of midnight, full of fear and hope. Some are unfinished, others end in tears that have already dried. She never sent them. She never dared to. There's something both heartbreaking and beautiful about reading your own honesty from the past. You realize how hard you tried, how much love you carried, even when it hurt. It's like meeting a younger version of yourself, still believing that love alone could fix everything. Anna sits on the floor, surrounded by pieces of paper that once carried her entire heart. One by one, she reads them aloud, her voice soft but steady. She no longer cries. The pain has changed shape, from sharp to round, from burning to warm. Psychologists call this emotional closure, when you can revisit pain without drowning in it. It doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without breaking. After an hour, she gathers the letters into a small pile. For a long time, she just stares at them, unsure what to do next. Then, Slowly, she takes a deep breath and opens the window. The wind enters, cool and kind. Anna picks up one letter, the first one she ever wrote, and lets it go. The paper flutters, dances for a moment in the air, then disappears into the bright Copenhagen sky. She doesn't need to send those words anymore. The person who needed to read them was her. She smiles, her heart light for the first time in a long time, and whispers, "Goodbye, and thank you for teaching me how deeply I can love." The wind answers by brushing her hair away from her face. Redefining home. That evening, as the last light fades behind the rooftops of Copenhagen, Anna sits by the window with a blanket wrapped around her shoulders. The city hums quietly below, footsteps on cobblestone, laughter spilling from a cafe, a bicycle bell chiming somewhere in the distance. Life continues, unhurried and beautiful in its ordinary rhythm. She watches the warm glow of candles flickering through other people's windows. Tiny golden dots scattered across the night, each one a story, a home, a life. For the first time, she doesn't feel jealous. She feels connected. It takes her a moment to realize what's happening inside her. She's no longer searching for the version of home she lost. She's building a new one that doesn't depend on anyone staying. You see, we're taught to think home means a place, or a person, or a shared heartbeat in the dark. But sometimes home is the silence that no longer hurts. The coffee you make just for yourself, and finally enjoy. The mirror you can look into and say, "I'm enough." Anna whispers the word home to herself. It feels different now, lighter, kinder. Not a memory, not a destination. Just a presence. Something that travels with her instead of trapping her. In Denmark, there's a word, hjemmehygge. It means the comfort of being at home. But comfort doesn't always come from four walls. Sometimes it comes from the space you create inside yourself when you stop running from who you are. She picks up her notebook, the one where she used to write grocery lists and love letters, and opens to a blank page. For the first time in months, she doesn't feel afraid of empty space. She writes slowly, "Home is not where someone loves you. Home is where you learn to love yourself again." The words sit on the page like a quiet truth. No drama, no tears, just peace. Anna looks out the window again. The moon hangs low over the city, reflecting softly on the canal. She feels the same light inside her chest, gentle, steady, enough. Maybe the meaning of home isn't lost after all. It just needed to be redefined. A heart that learns to stay. Morning returns to Copenhagen with its usual quiet grace. Soft rain tapping on the windows, bicycles whispering past on the wet streets, the faint smell of bread drifting from the bakery downstairs. Anna stands by the window, her hands wrapped around a warm mug. The same coffee. The same cup. But everything feels different now. She takes a slow sip, watching raindrops chase each other down the glass. There's peace in her stillness, not the fragile kind that shatters with every memory, but the kind that grows roots inside you. The kind that doesn't need someone else to hold it steady. You know that feeling when the storm finally ends, and for a moment the world smells new? That's what her heart feels like now. Clean. Quiet. Alive. She looks around her apartment. the once empty space that used to feel like a wound. Now it feels like hers again. The books, the candles, even the little crack in the coffee cup, everything tells a story of surviving. Of staying. She sits down and opens her notebook. Yesterday's line greets her. Home is where you learn to love yourself again. She smiles and writes beneath it, and when you finally do, you realize you never truly lost your home. It was waiting, patiently, inside your heart. Outside, the rain lightens into a drizzle. Children run past, their laughter echoing up the street. A man in a yellow raincoat waves at her from across the road, just a stranger, maybe the same one from the bus stop, maybe not. She waves back, and this time her smile feels effortless. The loneliness hasn't disappeared, it's simply changed form. It's no longer a void, it's space. Space for new mornings, new people, new versions of herself. Anna whispers softly, as if to seal a promise with the rain, I'm home now. Not because someone stayed, but because I did. The candle on her table flickers, catching the light from the window. The city breathes around her, and for the first time in a long time, she breathes with it, fully, calmly, completely. And maybe that's what love truly becomes after loss. Not the return of what was gone, but the quiet courage to remain.